Hello, everyone, and welcome to Backlot Banter. Today, we are doing the impossible. We are 100% accurately predicting the Oscar nominations, the forthcoming Oscar nominations.
I didn't know it was that serious,
Yeah,
dude.
100% accurate. No inaccuracies in our predictions. I'm Tanner. This is Tucker. We are joined by a consummate professional from across the sea. There,
What?
the great sea of land that is these United States.
Yeah, we're still on the
Sam
same
Meltzer.
continent.
Sam Meltzer. Sam, thank you for joining us.
I'm from England.
That's
Oh.
true. Yeah, that's right.
And I realized that.
No, Sam,
that,
we
you know,
already
when
got in trouble for
predicting
doing the
Oscar-
English accent on our BAFTA reactions. We already got in trouble.
Sorry, I was just trying to be the Iowa Debris Part 2. when she
Sure,
went to
yeah,
Ireland,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess I'm not as talented
No.
as she is.
Absolutely not.
Still very talented, though, Sam. Thank you for joining us. We, as I said, are here to predict the 2024 Oscar nominations. But before we get into that, I need to ask you to do the typical things. I need you to like this video. I need you to comment, watch this video. Comment down below if we're crazy, if you have a better idea of what's going to happen at the Oscar nominations. And, of course, if you want to talk about any of these things more in-depth than a YouTube comment, we have a Discord server.
We do, yeah.
That link to join that server down in the description. Wouldn't you believe it?
I would. I put it there.
Oh, okay.
That was me.
Yeah, all right.
It's my fault.
Now, we are going to be largely going in order of how the nomination ceremony will go, but of course, we need to start with the big kahuna. Best Picture.
Best Picture.
So yeah, we'll just kind of take it around the horn here. We'll all say our 5/10 for each of these categories and discuss it a little bit. We'll yell at each other if we're acting crazy. So I'll start. I'll start off it here. Okay.
Yeah, and you said that you wanted to go through and we should stop you when you sound crazy?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Stop me if I say something crazy. Okay?
Sure.
So
I don't think Picture has much room to be crazy.
It doesn't.
this year. And I think that's actually very exciting because
Yeah.
I look at the top 15 for Picture and I'm like, I'd be happy with any of those. There's not like there was a couple years ago where it was like Being the Ricardos. I'm like, oh, God damn it, I don't want to see Being the Ricardo be nominated for Picture. But it's like, if number 14 or 15 gets, I'm like, yeah, it's another good movie.
yeah, okay. Well, I don't think we're in a space where we're going to see a number 14 or 15 get in accidentally because I think we got to set 10. My 10, in order, goes. Presumptive winner, Oppenheimer. Poor Things, The Holdovers, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Anatomy of a Fall, American Fiction, Maestro, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest.
Yeah.
Clean, tidy, no objections?
I have a different order than
That's
you.
fair.
Yeah.
I have a different order than you, but I have Past Lives at 10.
That's fair.
That's the one I'm
just
least
because
confident
it
about.
is.
Yeah.
It's the only movie here that I have in with only one other nomination. Every other movie, I think, will get at least 4 or 5 nominations.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not really concerned.
That's a fair point.
That's the one that I'm not sure
Yeah.
is locked, but I don't have a reason to go against it.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that last slot, because there are so many movies that we're predicting to get a lot of awards and then just a few that'll be filling in the cracks, I can see Past Lives missing and being replaced by something a little bit less expected if that something less expected has one more important
Sure.
or maybe it's just a one-off performance from one of the other categories and they're like, whatever, just throw that in there. But we'll see what else we consider the other ones to be nominated for. But I Past Lives I'm iffy on because it also doesn't seem like it's been building momentum at all.
No,
I mean, it's been getting a couple of nominations at precursors, not winning almost anything.
No.
And then it's just like, I like it. I like that movie a lot, but I'm really not confident about Past Lives.
I mean that's all it really needs.
No.
I think it just needs to maintain that oh hey, that's a movie I really enjoyed from early in the year, granted, but I'm still gonna put it in. I'm still gonna put it in. It's still
that was one of
best
the
movies
early
year.
Best Picture winners alongside Spider-Verse and Air.
That's true. It was.
The unholy
this
trinity.
Gotta win Best Picture. All right, Sam Tucker, who wants to?
Well, wait.
We'll go for it.
One
Go
more
ahead.
thing I want to talk about.
Let's show a picture a little
because
bit.
there are
Okay,
a few people on
fine.
Twitter. There are a few people on Twitter who've been mentioning this very recent large campaign for Ava DuVernay's origin.
Yeah.
And last year we had something similar where right before the day of the Oscar voting, I went on Instagram and saw a little movie with a big heart called To Leslie. And over the next few days, just as Oscar voting began, almost 100 people posted on Instagram about this movie. And everyone was like, okay. And once Oscar voting ended, obviously none of them posted about it anymore, and people forgot.
Very interesting.
And then she actually got nominated. And I've been thinking, like, if that were to happen again, it would either be in Best Actress or Best Picture with Origin. However, there are a few things that stop me from doing that. One, the campaign started right in the middle of Oscar voting, and I feel like most people had already voted by then.
Yeah.
Two, there isn't a centralized category that this movie is focusing on.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, watch Origin. It isn't gonna get in director or screenplay,
Andrew
obviously.
Riseborough gives the best
and if it
performance
were, it
of
would
any
be
actress ever.
actress. Yeah, and they aren't really centering it around actress or even picture, so I guess it could maybe get into the 10th slot because of a lone nominee or something weird like that. Two, I've seen 5 celebrities post about it compared to the
Hundreds,
dozens that were posting
I
about
was going to say, it sounds
So-
like it would be less likely because I haven't even heard of this. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, I've heard of Origin, but I haven't heard of the campaign, so I just think that has no water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like every year a random movie does something like this, and now I'm only mentioning this because of Riseborough
point.
last
Yeah,
year, but
yeah.
I swear, like, 2 years ago, I'm sure there was an indie movie just like Origin that had the same exact journey, so I'm probably overthinking this, but I actually did put Origin at number 11 just because I don't think that May, December, Color Purple, and Saltburn
they just don't have the momentum.
really
Yeah.
they don't have that kind of momentum, whereas Origin actually would have the passion and the number 1 vote.
I did have
so
Ingenue
that's
Ellis
what I'm
Taylor.
keeping an eye out for.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm keeping an eye out for, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I had Ingenue Ellis Taylor as like a footnote in my actress category to bring up, but yeah, Sam, thank you for mentioning it now. So, unless we have anything else to mention in the Best Picture category,
That's all I have to mention. We have the same 10.
who wants to? You guys want a knife fight for who starts with a supporting actress then?
No, I don't want to fight. I want Sam to do it.
Okay, go ahead, Sam.
This is my pacifist
so
run.
I have supporting actress is a very wonky category.
Okay, yeah.
Because the only nominee I am 100% sure will get in is Divine Joy Randolph.
Absolutely.
I think anyone else could miss.
Yeah,
Number one
she's
with a
one of
bullet.
the
I have Emily
sweepingest elements of this entire season.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's the sweepiest,
Yeah,
sweep.
Uh-huh.
And she will continue to sweep. Unless my number 2, Emily Blunt, wins the BAFTA for some reason.
Yeah,
because the racist
And even
and
then, it
awful,
would be like a
I-
Kay Kwan situation where he didn't win the BAFTA.
Yeah, totally.
mhm.
So I have her number 2, and then I have Danielle Brooks at number 3.
Yeah.
I think Emily Blunt could get snubbed because Katrina Balfe got snubbed, and like
Okay.
maybe this is just me, but how the hell would you want to nominate that performance? Like, that is just crazy that she has been steamrolling like this. I mean, I get it, Oppenheimer is the Best Picture winner, and she's never been nominated, and she's finally in, like, a high-profile movie. But, like, honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised if she missed the nomination because there isn't much to this performance.
Yeah.
So,
No, I would agree with that. And I mean,
still have her number 2.
that's even why I think she would be nominated because, okay, that just seems like the track record, and it would be kind of silly to not put her in there, at least for the category, and be like, oh yeah, she was getting in there because she was riding the hype of the movie and it was the right time. But I barely remember that performance. Coming out of that movie, I was like, she would maybe be my like 6th or 7th most impactful performance from this film. And so I have her like the bottom of my category in terms of potential winning. Like, it really would just be like, it would just be hype if she ended up winning that. But I do think she'll be nominated.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, she has not really.
But I really wouldn't be surprised because I just don't know who would put that at number 1 on their ballot. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yes.
Danielle Brooks, I still have, even though I don't have The Color Purple getting nominated in any other category, I have seen several Instagram posts from celebrities specifically talking about her. She has managed to get nominated everywhere when the film has been underperforming severely. She is incredibly separate from how else the film has been performing. So I feel like she'll have enough passion to still get nominated. She's also an Emmy and a Grammy winner and a Tony nominee. She's established, and I think that even the people who don't like that movie will still say that she is worthy of recognition. So I'm still going to put her in there. And now is where it gets weird.
Yeah.
Because
The 4 and 5.
I don't
They're a
know
little
if
hairy.
anyone can agree on this. There are, let me count for a second. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who I'm struggling to do here. And I'm going to say something that I don't know if you'll agree with.
Okay.
But I have, shocking, I have Penelope Cruz getting nominated. And that is only because, one, when the movie premiered, every single review I saw, she was the first line of that review. She's the only thing that people care about.
Mm-hmm.
She is singled out so much. Two, she has a lot of fucking friends in that branch of the Academy.
Yes.
I mean, the connections are crazy. And three, she got into SAG, which,
She
like,
did.
for supporting actress specifically, that is a pretty good category with track of nominations.
Yes.
That could easily be a weird thing that happened. But Salma Hayek hosted a screening specifically for actors, and she was the focus of
Very
the
interesting,
screening.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she has enough friends, and that performance actually does have
Oh,
enough
yeah, she's great in that
passion
movie.
Yeah.
to get her in.
She's got a lot of
Do I
material
think-
to work off in that film. And Sam, you're not crazy. I'm not stopping you. I also have Penelope Cruz in.
Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also going to put her in as well.
But if she misses, then like I'm not going to be shocked
Okay, sure. I
whatsoever
understand.
because this is kind of a long shot.
Yeah. 5.
Even
and then
hairier.
The fifth slot. With personal bias again,
Here we
I'm
go.
putting in Sandra Hüller
Oh, interesting.
only
yeah.
because, and I have a really long reason as to why she won't get nominated.
Of course.
And it's that no performance that does not have a close up has ever been nominated for an Oscar.
Very
Yes.
interesting.
And she does not have a single close
Yeah,
up
it's not
in the
that
movie.
kind of movie.
It's not that kind of movie. So I don't know if the actors branch will vibe with it.
Yeah, that's my
but,
concern.
The strength of her Best Actress nomination, along with the passion for Zone peaking right now,
Yeah.
could maybe get her in.
Maybe.
I would obviously have America Ferrera here if she got into SAG, where I feel like they would love Barbie. But when she missed, I became skeptical. But I feel like she could still also get nominated.
Yeah.
And especially with the See Her Award
Yes.
being presented
I was
right at
gonna
the beginning of
mention
Oscar voting, and that movie clearly going to resonate with the actors branch, and it's going to get a lot of nominations. She and Hüller are I'm kind of struggling to pick one of those two as my fifth slot.
Okay.
I don't think Rosamund Pike is going to happen. I know a lot of people are like, Saltburn overperformed at BAFTA, Rosamund Pike got Golden Globe. All three of the actors who got nominated for the BAFTA for Saltburn were clearly jury picks.
Yeah.
And it didn't get cinematography or screenplay,
Yes.
which are categories that people thought it could get nominated
Yeah,
for at the
yeah.
Oscars, but it missed both of them at the BAFTAs with the general voting. So clearly the actors were the jury saves.
Yes.
I'm not sure that Saltburn is the type of movie that is more a film that the industry is vibing for, or the normies who watch 10 movies a year, and this
Yeah,
is their
it
first
gets a big
crazy, shocking movie
Yes,
ever,
yes.
and use TikTok a lot, and are unlike Jacob Elordi. So I can't
Baby
tell
girl.
if Rosamund Pike actually has passion, or if it's just specific bodies, because even Critics' Choice put that in Best Picture and didn't have her. So Golden Globe, BAFTA, not a great combination to get nominated for the Oscar. Dolly DeLeon last year didn't get nominated for
Right.
the Oscar with that combo, and she had more passion. So
And that film was.
I'm not
Best
really
Picture.
sure there.
Yeah.
and I just don't want to predict Jodie Foster because
Sam, let me stop you.
I neglect it.
I got to jump in because you're sounding crazy with the Sandra Hüller. You're hope dicting. I have Jodie Foster in. I know I'm going 5 for 5 with SAG there, which isn't a thing that you necessarily.
last
want
year
to do.
they went 5
Yeah.
out of 5 in supporting
But,
actress.
exactly.
So,
But I'm just like, Jodie Foster? She's large in the industry. She also has a lot of friends there. She is looming large in the industry's mind right now because I'm not sure if you know this, but she also just had her new season of True Detective start as Oscar voting was starting as well, which apparently she's quite good in. And when you watch Naiad, as I presume many people in the Academy have, you're like, Annette Bening is playing a hard-to-like character, whereas Jodie Foster is playing a very easy-to-like character. She's playing a very sympathetic character. She's playing the best friend. I'm like, she got the SAG nomination. She got a couple others. I believe she got in Golden Globes as well. She's got these precursors, so I'm like, I think it's Jodie Foster.
Yeah, I mean, my argument against Jodie Foster doesn't exist other than I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not even really perceiving any conversation about it.
Uh-huh.
Other than basically everything I've heard about Naiad has been mixed at best.
Yes.
And so I'm like, to me, Naiad feels like what The Good Nurse. What was The
Good Nurse.
The Good Nurse. I was thinking Good Doctor.
Yeah, that's my theory as well.
Exactly.
But Tanner, you make a really great point.
No, absolutely, and I think that's what makes this category so interesting, and this will be one of the most fun categories to see because I don't think any of these are necessarily bad picks, and I think that almost all of them have some reason you can come up with. My 5 is Divine Joy Randolph,
right.
Emily Blunt,
right.
Danielle Brooks, I think, is interesting. Danielle Brooks and Penelope Cruz, I'm flip-flopping back and forth between because I think they're both ones that, for me, feel like there's passion behind these performances, and even if the movie gets in nowhere else, I can see it happening. I'm going to edge towards Danielle Brooks. I think that I've seen more passion for that performance, and I was also seeing a lot more passion for that movie in general before it fell off the face of the earth. And then I have Julianne Moore in May December. I think that May December will do a little bit better on Oscars morning than maybe people are thinking. And I have America Ferrera in there because I think that Barbie is going to be huge at the Oscars, even if it wasn't in other places.
Yeah. I mean,
that could absolutely be right. I think none of us are going to be right. I think it's going to be a weird combination of this.
Absolutely.
Or what if Emily Blunt doesn't get nominated
It's totally
and something
possible.
crazy happens?
Wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind.
So it sounds like we all agree on Penelope Cruz in the 4. Who do we want to put in our, again, 100% accurate?
I honestly have to say Tanner made a really good point with
I looked it up too.
Also,
she
has a lot of friends.
Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, SAG
friends.
is what Jodie Foster has for precursors. Julianne Moore didn't get SAG, and that's who votes on the nominations.
Good point. Yeah.
For whatever reason, hey, maybe it's the subject matter of May December is a little touchy for those actors. Maybe it's hitting a little too close to home for them. They just didn't go for it for any of the big 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, which I'm very disheartened to see. I would love to see Julianne Moore get in there, and should be noted, the Academy fucking loves Julianne Moore.
Yes, absolutely.
They love giving her nominations. But I just don't.
But they've never given her a nomination unexpectedly, or like really when she was that much on the cusp.
Yeah.
They really haven't.
So do we?
And the last time she was nominated was when she won.
In 2015 for Still Alice. Yeah. So do you want to do Jodie Foster?
Sure, that's fine by me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
because if we want to be right.
Yes, 100% accurate.
What's next?
Tucker, you will be taking costume design.
I will be taking costume design? Oh, Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Costume design, interesting category.
Yes.
I see a lot of movies here that are kind of on the cusp. I think the only ones that I'm like really confident about are Barbie and Poor Things in terms of like,
sure.
Yeah, okay, that's fucking undeniable. They're so unique that it's so ridiculous, like the way that Everything Everywhere was last year. Even though I don't think that like people are like, oh my god, that is gonna get costume design. Obviously, it should have, and it did. Was nominated at least. So Barbie and Poor Things are my top 2, and then I'm pulling some weird shit here.
Okay.
Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm putting in as well. It seems to be the number 3, but I'm like, wasn't really that impressive.
But also the clothing that the Osage women wear is very showy.
Yes.
So I feel like they'll still do it.
Yeah, and then I have Napoleon and Priscilla.
Yep.
I think that the bottom of this category is just like, who knows? And also it's costume design. It's not like there's many precursors to really go off of. So I'm just like, we'll throw things and see where they stick.
4 precursors, Tucker. The four of them you mentioned, Barbie, Killers, Napoleon, and Poor Things, haven't missed a precursor.
Okay.
So there you go. And for the 5, I have in, what do I have? Well, I have Oppenheimer in, just because I'm like, they're going to fucking go Google Gaga for Oppenheimer.
I don't want that to be nominated for costumes, because it's less interesting.
It has period-accurate costume, and like, might as well just throw it a bone in the 5.
I have the same 5 as you, Tanner, and I think that Oppenheimer will get in here a la The Power of the Dog, getting in production design and sound. Like, it's just the movie that's going to lead with the nomination, so it'll
absolutely.
It's just another thing for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just hope taking Priscilla because I don't want that movie to go entirely unnominated because it's one of my favorites of the year.
It's a really good movie, and the costumes are really good. I mean, they really are. Other things that I had thrown out there just for like, period accurate costumes, they like that kind of thing. Other possibilities I had were The Color Purple and Maestro.
Oh no, yeah, there's
Maestro is likelier.
Yeah.
The Color Purple missed the Guild and the
right.
Critics' Choice, which is
no good. No bueno.
So
another argument I would say for Priscilla though
yes.
is It does seem to me like every year when you look at the costume design nominees, they do gear towards occasionally movies that are really about clothing. Like,
Of course.
that when that's a big focus of the film, it's one of the things that jumps out in your mind when you're thinking about voting. And Priscilla is definitely one of those movies. There's a lot of scenes of Priscilla getting dressed, choosing dresses, going through and swapping out dresses and trying to figure out what looks good. That is one of the things that really sticks out in your mind in terms of costumes.
Yeah.
Like, in these other movies, like even Napoleon and Oppenheimer and Maestro, they're not talking about clothes in these movies. They just have period accurate
and lots
clothing.
of them, like lots of extras in period accurate clothes, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, those giant costume dramas are a surefire bet, but so is the thing where it's like, focused on wardrobe specifically, especially for an individual character.
Cruella, Mrs. Paris Goes to Paris.
Yeah, Mrs. Paris Goes to Paris.
Mrs. Paris Goes to Harris. Phantom Thread a couple years ago. They definitely go for those.
Sure.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Hope they think Priscilla, but also it'd obviously be a good pick.
Okay. So we go with the 5 there, where it's like Barbie, Killers, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things.
Are you writing down what our 5 is going to be?
We'll hear it.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, we'll hear. That's why I'm recapping at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's back to me for sound, actually. So for sound, again, there's only 2 that have not missed a precursor, and those are Ferrari and Oppenheimer. So I got those boys locked up there.
Yeah.
Vroom Vroom Go Fast movie and Big Explosion movie. Good stuff. What else we got? I also have Maestro in there, because I actually did see a tweet of someone who was at the Oscars Sound Bake Off, and sort of like what scenes each film team selected, because they were only allowed to take a 10-minute uninterrupted clip of the film to showcase the sound. Maestro did the opening 10 minutes, which is like him waking up and then the on the waterfront sound.
Phenomenal scene.
Exactly. So I got Maestro in there. I have the Zone of Interest in there because the scene they selected was, Sam, you're the only one here who's seen it, the birthday party scene, and then whatever follows that.
I don't remember what followed that.
Okay.
I remember that, but I don't remember what followed that. But that's the best sound design I've ever seen in a film.
Sure.
So if they don't nominate that, then they're pieces of shit. So I really hope that gets nominated.
And then my 5,
I think it will,
is Mission Impossible, because they showed the train crash scene for that.
Sure.
And I think Mission Impossible also got in at the BAFTA. So I'm like, I don't know. If you have similar sort of technical minded people voting for this thing, I think it's going to be Mission Impossible. Though I think things like, if we want to sort of spur a discussion on some additional things here, things like The Killer or Killers of the Flower Moon could also take a spot there.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think?
I have Killers of the Flower Moon instead of Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Just because I don't know if the Academy is going to take that seriously,
That's
and
fair.
the first one didn't even get nominated for sound.
Yeah, okay.
However, I am keeping an eye out for The Killer, just
Yes.
because I think since Fight Club, every single David Fincher movie has been nominated for one Oscar.
I love it. I would love for The Killer to
And
get
that's
in there.
kind of the
I would
only
love
thing
it, but if it took out the Zone of Interest, I'd hate that movie for
Okay, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
Yes, for me, I have Oppenheimer, Maestro, and Ferrari, like
Yep.
you guys were talking about.
Yep.
And then I actually do agree with you. I think Mission Impossible will swing in there. I think they usually put some sort of blockbuster crazy thing in there. Obviously, that is a movie with a lot of nut stuff going on, and is sound designed very well. And then my last one I'm putting is Barbie. I think that Barbie, I'm predicting. And you'll probably notice this as a trend throughout my predictions, like how I had America Ferrera in there, and I wasn't as confident about Emily Blunt. I'm thinking that Barbie will be overperforming on for an Oscars nominations, and I think that Killers of the Flower Moon specifically, especially in these tech areas, I'm less confident about getting sound. I think that might just be personal bias. I'd be much more interested to see Barbie getting these things, but I feel like Barbie's going to be overperforming, and this is a category where it's like, no one's going to be like complaining if Barbie gets sound, and it would just be like, oh, that's riding the hype, getting another tech.
It's right, yeah. And this is going to come up in some other categories as well, but I don't know about you, Sam. I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I kind of feel like the Barbie momentum is slowing down. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, we could have talked about that for America Ferrera. I think if Barbie was still riding high, like a lot of other things are, she could get in, but she's not. I guess the film is not riding as high as it once was. I mean, it's lost some footing in some other categories that we'll get to. But Sam, what did you have for sound?
Well, I
Oh,
don't
shoot, we did.
think Barbie will get nominated just because last year Everything Everywhere All at Once was predicted to get a sound nomination. It had the precursors for it, and it was the Best Picture winner with 11 nominations and the most above the line wins of all time. But it didn't get sound because the sound is goofy. And Barbie's sound is goofy.
Sound.
And I just don't see how that branch,
fair.
which I actually do think is quite sophisticated, will nominate that instead of the Zone of Interest.
Okay.
Sure.
So it sounds like we have.
Because who is going to put Barbie at number 1 on their ballot for sound?
Okay.
No one.
So it sounds like we all.
Whereas Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
and Zone of Interest will get number 1 votes.
Yeah. So for our 5, just to be clear, it sounds like we have Oppenheimer, Ferrari, and Maestro in. We have Zone of Interest in.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then
I do agree with Sam that that's one of the movies that whose momentum seems to be growing.
Yes,
So yeah, that's fine.
And then, you know what, Sam? You bring up this idea of like having a sophisticated sort of branch here, and with that, I might be sympathetic and just generally to putting The Killer in there instead of Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's fine by
I
me.
feel like it's going to be The Killer or Killers.
Yes.
I don't know if Mission Impossible would get it, because, again, it's kind of not serious.
Yeah. I mean, to speak of the clips that they showed again, The Killer showed Sam, have you seen The Killer?
Yeah.
They showed the clip of the brute fight that they call it in the Florida house against the giant guy or whatever,
yeah.
which has very interesting sound design. So I think seeing that clip might give it a big boost right before having that fresh in the voters' minds. And I think the Killers of the Flower Moon just went with the explosion scene when they blow up the house in town, which is very well done, but I think The Killer just has that interest level to it.
Sure.
So I'll switch to The Killer, frankly.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
Against Mission Impossible.
Fine by me.
All right. Sam, score.
Where are you going for score?
Okay, I have quite a bold prediction here.
Okay.
So I have Oppenheimer,
Yes.
I have Poor Things, and I have Killers of the Flower Moon. Of course, I have the Zone of Interest. I'm worried because there are less than 10 minutes of music in the entire
very
movie.
Brief score.
It's the best score of all time. So it's not traditional. Yeah. And there is parts of it where it just sounds like a weird sound effect. And so it plays for the first 5 minutes of the movie, which is just a black screen, and then it plays over the credits, which is 3 minutes probably, or 5 minutes. And there's one scene in the movie in the snow when it plays, and 2 other scenes in the movie that are like these weird experimental sequences where it plays. That's it. The rest of the movie is no score at all. So that's why I'm not like confident in this. But, like, oh my god, if they watch that movie, they're obviously going to put it on their ballot. It is so undeniable. Like, one sound from this and you don't forget it. And the second the movie starts, like, your mood completely changes because of the score. So I have it in just because Mika Levi also got nominated for Jackie, which was not expected to happen. And if this is really building momentum, it didn't get nominated for the BAFTA because it wasn't eligible, which is why it didn't make the long list. But, I mean, clearly it would have gotten in if it was eligible. And then for the 5th slot, I think Spider-Verse is going to get snubbed. And no one has mentioned
I mean, it hasn't missed a precursor, which is why a lot of people aren't thinking that.
Daniel Pemberton has never been nominated for original score. And ever since fucking June, people have overestimated that movie like crazy because they like it. It is a film Twitter movie. That movie is not what the industry cares about. It is an animated film that is also a sequel with Spider-Man in the title. Did anyone forget that? Like, that's not an Academy-friendly movie. And with Daniel Pemberton never getting nominated, and I haven't seen many people talking about that score recently, I just think he could miss, because I don't see them doing 2 animated movies in here, and I also don't know if that movie is going to be taken very seriously. I have The Boy and the
Okay.
Heron. Because even though that movie is animated, the score is still more traditional, and it's very beautiful and graceful, and that composer has been around for a very long time and is very respected, and finally has a chance. I feel like they're gonna do it. I could be wrong. It could just be Spider-Verse. It could be fucking Indiana Jones for all we know. But my 5 kind of tracks. Like, and honestly, like, looking at this, I would have a similar lineup. I probably wouldn't have Killers of the Flower Moon, but yeah, like, this is a great category. I just hope that they actually go forth with the Zone of Interest.
I think Tanner and I are probably riding the same boat of. I think your hype for Zone of Interest is kind of creating this narrative a little bit for you. I don't think there's a chance in shit a movie with 10 minutes of music gets nominated for fucking score. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I guess last year was kind of close with The Fabelmans, which didn't have as much score, but that was still like 25 minutes.
It was also John Williams.
Yes, of course. It was another great score. But for me, I have.
But it is the 10 minutes of your life.
No, it was 10 minutes of your life. It wasn't necessally that for
to be fair,
people voting.
To be fair, just looking at some precursors here, Zone of Interest did make Golden Globes, and it did make the Hollywood Music something, the HMMA.
And it won LA.
It won at the HMMA.
It has hype. Mika Levi is very well liked.
And I did hear that it was ineligible for the BAFTA long list, which is why I didn't make it, but I forgot about that once the BAFTAs came around. So I'm like, if it was eligible, it definitely would have made it because it was a fucking Zone of Interest party over at the BAFTAs. But at the same time, I still have apprehensions about it.
Yeah. No, I'm
okay. I'm fine okay. Not predicting it because I could totally see it missing, but like just know that like I will be so devastated because out of all of the categories that it's like has a shot in, that's the one that I really
the unfortunate reality
want to happen.
Is what seems most likely to me, and the future I can see easiest is you not shutting up about the fact that it wasn't nominated for the rest of the time.
Yeah, that seems fairly.
It's like, oh, they didn't get. It was the best thing ever. Changed my life. But
yeah.
So for me, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things. I am putting Spider-Verse. I think that the fact that it is getting all the precursors does show that across the industry there is appeal towards either score specifically. I don't think that Spider-Verse will overperform in other areas like people were maybe thinking it was going to back in June, but the score is the one thing that has stuck around. I mean, that has been incredibly consistent, and for me, I'm thinking they will do 2 animated films.
Yeah,
I mean that and Boy and the Heron are my last 2.
New Golden Globes did 2 animated features, and they're
with
like
6 nominees.
Yes, with 6 nominees. But they did Zone of Interest, which is to be fair. To be fair to you, Sam. But like, other than it doesn't feel like something the Academy would do, what reason is there for you to be like, well, they wouldn't put 2 animated movies in there?
Yeah, no, it's just a vibes thing.
No, that's not a good reasoning.
Yeah,
I just think Spider-Verse is taken less seriously as a movie than Boy and the Heron, which is why I would over it. But I am getting a little thing in the back of my head telling me that they're going to nominate John Williams.
It's very possible. It's very possible that would be
he just got a building named after him somewhere in LA.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a couple already.
Like the building where he has made music for the past 60 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, what do we want to do here? So we have our 3. We have
we can just do Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron because that's
Spider-Verse, Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
Those are the ones I picked.
Okay, we can do that. I think that'll be okay.
But I just have a feeling that they're smart enough and they'll know to do Zone of Interest if they watch it. Like,
I don't think that you're necessarily off base. I don't think that. I think it's insanely likely that happens.
More likely.
Yeah, I do too. Especially if it gets.
How come?
I'm just looking. I was like, I don't know. I just don't. I would cut Boy and the Heron over cutting Spider-Verse because I just think Spider-Verse has a score that you're like, it just sticks in your ear more. It's more it stands out more than the Boy and the Heron score. But the Boy and the Heron score is also very, very good. So I think the zone of interest is the only one where I'm like, it's 10 minutes of music. It's not forefronted in the film a whole lot. I think it's got the most knocks against
that's it. Not true.
Well,
it is forefronted
not
in the film.
Forefronted, but
and
like,
also it is the first and the last thing you hear when you watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's so singular and weird, you can't hum it. Like if you won't be able to hum it because it's so like strange. And there's a sequence where it'll play it for 1 1/4 of a second and then play silence for 1 second. And then it'll play score for
You know
1/4
what
of a
other
second.
score
And
you
then that
couldn't
just
hum?
goes.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, you can.
You could easily hum that
That's
score.
not a hum. That's not a hum.
Okay, but you can't mimic the sounds of this because
Okay.
it doesn't even sound like a score. It's transcended music.
Sam, I'm skeptical. I think Tucker's against it, so I think we're just gonna have to do Boy in the Heron and Spider-Verse.
Okay, well,
And
if
you know
it gets
what?
nominated, I'm gonna give you the fattest "I told you so" of all time.
Totally fine.
I don't want you to hit me with an "I told you so" because I'm like, Sam, you
can tell me so.
Yeah,
It's
I don't want to.
And it's going to be the last one that they announce.
It
too.
will be.
So
It
if
will be the
Spider-Verse
last one.
isn't there and Zone of Interest isn't there, it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah. Okay. All
What's
right.
next?
Adapted screenplay.
Is that me?
Yeah, it's you.
I'm up. Adapted screenplay seems like a pretty easy one, pretty
cut
cut
and
and
dry,
dry.
yeah.
In terms of what's gotten precursors, basically it's been the same things over and over again.
Yep.
Poor Things, American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, and Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Presumed winner being their Barbie. Does anyone else have a?
I have no
objections?
fucking clue.
Okay.
I think it'll be Barbie.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would like it to be Poor Things.
That's true. I would like
That has
that
a
too.
much
I would
better
like it to be Poor Things.
screenplay.
I mean, I think any of these would be a great.
No,
one,
yeah,
frankly.
there's not a bad pick
No.
here, but it's a great category.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Zone of Interest could get nominated?
No, because from what I know about it, and again, bench all of my comments on the Zone of Interest with I have not seen the movie and will not be seeing it for, I don't know, like another couple weeks or so. But from what I know about it, it's not like a screenplay movie. It's not a movie
No,
where you're like,
it's not.
it needs the director. And we'll get to that. We will get to that, I'm sure. But because that was such a cut and dry category, Tucker, do you want to take original screenplay too?
Sure.
Yeah, since we did that one so quick.
I will take that.
Yeah.
Original screenplay, I feel like I'm getting a little spicy on.
Okay, here we go.
Because again,
I have a spicy one. We might agree here, Tucker.
I'm not
Oh.
fully confident in the Past Lives momentum, and so
Okay.
I'm not putting Past Lives in my 5.
All right.
I think the easy ones for me. Oh wait, no, wait, what the fuck? This dumb app. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a great app. It's a
It's a
great,
great
app.
app. Sorry. The ones that I'm pretty confident in are Anatomy of a Fall,
Yep.
Maestro, and The Holdovers.
Okay.
And the winner of that, I think, probably The Holdovers in terms of just where the Academy goes. But
Yeah.
I would prefer Anatomy of a Fall.
Yep.
And then I also have May, December, and Air. That I think May, December also tracks
Air.
with Air. Air, I think, will get in and people will be upset about it.
Okay.
This is just me trying to like retro backfill the minds of the Academy members and be like,
I see.
and it'll be like something you look back on like, the fucking Air got nominated. But that's my 5. And May, December again, tracking alongside me, putting Julianne Moore in. I think that there is still
Yep.
some momentum. For
I
that
think May,
movie.
December will get nominated.
I think so too.
But I
I
don't
hope so.
think Maestro will get nominated.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think
I've heard
Maestro was
this.
going to get in.
Yeah.
Mank didn't get nominated.
No, you're right. It didn't.
Yeah, that's true. But I
So
think
why would I predict Maestro?
Different movies.
Different
times.
Mank is a
different
movie about a screenwriter who wrote Citizen Kane and won the Oscar, written by David Fincher's father who died.
Uh-huh.
It didn't even get nominated. I don't know why I would predict Maestro. I mean, maybe. But being the Ricardos missed the next year, there's always like a big movie that misses.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Anatomy, Holdovers, and Past Lives. I still think Past Lives is going to get nominated.
Okay.
And then I have May, December, and I actually have Saltburn.
Okay.
And the reason why I have Saltburn is because it really, to me, feels like a lone screenplay nominee.
Sure.
Yes. I can see that. I don't think that's crazy. So yeah,
That's what Air feels like to me, by the way.
So it sounds like we're locking in Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall,
And May, December.
May, December.
Yeah.
Um,
You feel more
Can we
confident in
please just
Maestro,
put in
right?
Past Lives?
yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with cutting Maestro because it only got BAFTA, and again, that was a weird BAFTA nom to throw at screenplay, you know. I'd be okay with Past Lives. It hasn't, or sorry, I'd be okay with Saltburn. It hasn't gotten any precursors.
Yeah.
But also, you know, the
But
BAFTA.
isn't there
where
always
Air
one
and Past
movie
Lives have
that
it,
doesn't
yeah.
get any?
Sorry, what'd you say, Sam?
Is there?
May, December didn't get any precursors either.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. Well, May December hasn't gotten any precursors
Oh,
either.
okay, interesting.
But I think that's a much more writery movie. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're looking at the writers to vote on stuff, I would venture a guess that there are going to be a lot more writers who are going to be taking issue with Saltburn than there are writers who are going to be taking issue with May
Yeah,
December.
yeah. The interesting thing about both Saltburn and Maestro is, funnily enough, the screenplay is the thing that most criticized about both of those movies.
Yes.
And even though I like both of them, it's my least favorite part of both of those movies. And so I think that the Anatomy of a Fall, Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great.
Run that by me one more time.
Your list.
Oh, my list. Oh, my.
Yes.
Okay, my 5 here. Okay, that's fine. All right. Okay.
Obviously, I was saying Air. What the fuck?
Yeah. What precursors has Air gotten?
I'm pretty sure.
Critics' Choice.
Okay. Yeah.
And that that doesn't really count for anything.
Sure.
At the end
Pundits'
of
Choice Awards.
Yeah.
The Gold Derby top 5.
Yes, of course.
The Grace Randolph choice.
The much beloved Critics' Choice nomination should have been this year that no one had any complaints about.
Yeah.
Okay. It's back around to me for back around to me for supporting actor.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh my
Shit,
god.
shit, man. All right, here we fucking go.
Oh
okay.
god.
The folks who have not missed. Number 1 with the bullet, Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Okay.
We all know this.
Lock it in.
Of course.
Number 2,
And number 2.
always the bridesmaid, never the bride here, Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Number 3 also hasn't missed, Robert De Niro.
Yep.
And now the ever so hairy 4 and 5 again.
Yes.
Now there's been a lot of jockeying over the last several months. We SAG threw out a Sterling K. Brown, didn't give us Mark Ruffalo, but did give us Willem Dafoe. BAFTA gave us Dominic Sessa. And Charles Melton, looking strong when May December came out, has sort of fallen down the ranks. I am going to go with the original prevailing wisdom here and say we get 2 Poor Things boys.
Yes. I have the same thing, and even here's my logic with this, because I actually don't think that both of them are going to get nominated. I know that one of them is going to miss. However, I don't know which is going to miss, and I would much rather get 4 out of 5 on a category instead of try and predict one of them to miss.
Take a 50-50 shot.
And then try and get 5 out of 5, but end up getting 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get 4 out of 5 on this category. I know one of them is going to get nominated. I just don't know which.
Yeah.
So I am refusing to predict anything else. However, I do think Charles Melton, I think that BAFTA list gives great precedent for Charles Melton to get nominated.
Okay.
Sterling K. Brown, maybe, if they like the movie enough, but he got in at SAG.
Yeah.
And Screen Actors Guild, most of the people there are TV voters, where he had 9 nominations and he has several Emmys.
He was big on TV
I don't know
for a
if
long
the
time.
Academy is going to go for that. Dominic says it's not going to happen.
No.
I firmly believe this.
Here's
If he
the
does,
thing,
then I'll be shocked.
Holdovers is riding a massive wave right now.
Yeah. And it wouldn't...
But he has no connections, nothing, no establishment, and no passion outside of film
I guess the Oscars
Twitter.
don't necessarily go as much for like the young ingenue, much like the BAFTAs do. For
Alana
example.
Haim didn't get nominated, so why would Dominic Sessa?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you guys are right. I think the safer one is to go with both the Poor Things guys.
Mm-hmm.
I just, for the record, I am putting Charles Melton in.
Okay.
I think that his performance is the thing that people took most away from that. And again, I'm still saying that I think that May December has some momentum going into Oscars and being nominated in supporting actress and screenplay. And if it does have that momentum, it doesn't get fucking Charles Melton. That would be insane.
I mean, Charles Melton, I've always said, is like the most likely to get in of the 3.
Yeah.
Just because everyone was loving this guy. Everyone was hyping him up in the reviews.
Definitely.
So
I think we lock in for the books.
Yeah.
Both Poor Things boys.
Right.
But just again, for my record, for the video record, I think that Mark Ruffalo
if there was a 6th slot, you guys would put in Charles Melton.
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again,
I actually think Willem Dafoe is likelier than
interesting.
Mark
Okay.
Ruffalo.
Who do you think's more likely?
Oh, of the 2?
Yeah.
I mean, SAG went with Willem Dafoe. And I was thinking about this on my drive home today. I was like, is it because they look at Ryan Gosling and they're like, we already have the clown performance of the 5 here.
No,
like we don't need 2
they
funny
do.
guys.
No.
No,
wait,
you're
you guys are
overthinking
saying that Willem Dafoe is
No,
more
I'm
likely.
saying Mark Ruffalo.
You're saying Mark Ruffalo. Who are you saying
He's
more
saying
likely?
Willem Dafoe.
I think Willem Dafoe is more likely because of who we've seen leapfrog in the supporting categories
The
lately.
older,
That's a
the
good
older
point.
actor.
And the younger
Yeah,
one.
that is
Yeah.
true.
So, but if either
that
one
happened to
gets
both
nominated,
Fabelmans and
Belfast.
Fabelmans
yeah.
and Belfast in
Oh,
both
God.
of the categories.
Yep.
So
And they were
again,
both the
I
worst
think
picks.
That's true.
And I think Willem Dafoe would get it if it was
not
one
that
of them.
not that
but
Willem
I'm not
Dafoe is
bold
a
enough.
worse pick necessarily.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we're
locked in.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
But another great thing about this
Yeah.
is this is a hairy category for predictions, but it's a great category for nominations.
Absolutely.
Any fucking one of these, you're like, yeah, oh, absolutely, I can see him win.
Yeah, any one of the guys that we mentioned, I'd be very happy to see in
Totally.
there.
What a great
me too.
lineup.
Yeah. Sam, best original song.
Okay, so of course I have What Was I Made For and
Right.
I'm Just Ken.
Yep.
They're both going to get in.
Yes.
Third, I have The Fire Inside because
Yes.
Diane Warren has legitimately never missed, and she's going to get in.
biggest movie of the
Also,
year, Flamin' Hot.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
That song kind of slaps.
I haven't listened to it.
And it's kind of a bop, and I really don't want to admit that, but it's
Sam, why
kind
don't
of
you
really
play it off your
catchy and fun. I have Road to Freedom
Yep.
because Lenny Kravitz, and the American Symphony song because the music branch liked that movie and it's on track for documentary. And John Batiste, very respected and has won
Love it.
several Grammys.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
That's his 5 as well. I have no fucking idea. I just pulling shit out my ass. Color Purple and Ballad of Songbird Snakes. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows?
They've never nominated the Hunger Games
I don't
song,
care.
sadly. Okay, yeah, I figure. But it would be good to
Go
get
for
Olivia Rodrigo at the Oscars, wouldn't it? Would be nice. Tucker, you want to take documentary?
Not really.
Okay, do you want me to take it?
I guess so.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
have no fucking
documentary.
idea.
We'll swap for these. So for documentary, I have the aforementioned Sam, American Symphony. Not necessarily to win. I don't really know what's going to win here. American Symphony could win, but I do think it's going to be 20 Days in Mariupol for the winner. I also have Beyond Utopia, Four Daughters, and Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni story. So, yeah, I mean,
I have the first 4, except
Okay.
I have the Eternal Memory instead of Going to Mars.
That's totally fair. You know what? I'm okay with.
But I don't care. I haven't seen any of these, so I don't know how
Me
I
neither.
would predict the category.
Sam, you want to go Eternal Memory? Or should we go Going to Mars? Tucker, what are your thoughts?
Eternal Memory.
Okay, Eternal Memory it is. Okay, there it is.
Yep.
Tucker, do you want to take international or do you want to?
Sure.
Okay, you want to take that one? Okay.
I think what's interesting about this year's international is it seems like there is a cluster of ones that are getting the nominations across the board,
Mm-hmm.
but the Oscars is always fuck.
They always throw a curveball.
They're always
There
weird
was
as
the
shit.
one weird one.
Yeah.
They're always like, "What the fuck is this?" Oh, I never even heard of that.
Right.
So Zone of Interest,
Yep.
yeah. Fallen Leaves, Taste of Things, Perfect Days, and Society of Snow. I think is the safest if you want to get the most.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
No.
I
I actually have 20 Days in Mariupol.
have Perfect Days lined up for a snub.
Okay. Fine.
I have
don't
Perfect
care.
Days out
Great.
as well because that movie has gotten so fucked this season, which pisses me off because it's the second best contender here, and it should get nominated.
Yeah.
And Koji Yakusho should get nominated, but with the decision to leave snub, like that crowd is going to be the type of people who like Perfect Days.
Right.
So.
God, that was insane.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus Christ.
I also have.
And I
20 Days
predicted
in
him to get
Mariupol.
director.
Yeah, you did. Yep, 1 year ago.
Sam, I have 20 Days in Mariupol there as well. So yeah, is that our 5 then? Zone of Interest, Taste of Things,
Sure.
Society of the Snow, Fallen Leaves, 20 Days.
Great.
Okay, sounds good. So we swapped. Oh, it's back to Sam.
Sam, you
No.
get animated feature.
Yes,
Oh, okay. I think this is pretty agreeable, right?
that's fine. Well, let's hear it.
I have Spider-Verse.
Right.
Actually, no, I have Boy in the Heron at number
Okay.
1, but
I mean, it's really interesting how this has turned into a race.
Yeah, no, absolutely it has.
Yeah.
And one of the few animated races we've had.
When it has been so
Yeah.
when it was locked up for like 6 months essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Spider-Verse, Boy
Yep.
in the Heron. I mean Elemental probably.
It's gonna happen.
And then I have. Should I put Chicken Run in?
I'm having it. I have it in.
I don't know. I mean, BAFTA went for it because it's Aardman, but I don't know if it's got the.
Okay, well, the Oscars nominated both Shaun the Sheep movies.
Yeah.
Wallace and Gromit won. They
Yeah.
nominated Missing Link. They nominated
Nominated
the
Missing
Pirates
Link.
movie.
I know.
They've
I hear
never
you.
not nominated. Oh yeah, fuck it. I'm taking out Ninja Turtles for that.
Okay. You know what? That's fine. That's fair.
So
I mean,
Chicken Runs are 4,
Yeah.
and I have TMNT as my 5.
Okay. I have
Nimona as my
I
5.
have Nimona as well.
Okay.
Just, I mean, if they're gonna go
But you
for
also have TMNT.
Yeah, I didn't have Chicken Run.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, that one didn't really make a splash this year.
Okay, but it's Chicken Run, and the first movie came out the year before. It came about the year before the animated feature category started, but it won the BAFTA, the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, and all, the New York critic, like all the critics gave that movie the win.
Okay.
And Chicken Run's gonna.
It would have won the Oscar if the category existed.
Yeah, that's right.
And it even. And the Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, that movie that won the animated feature Oscar, that movie was nominated for Best British Film at the BAFTAs and won.
Yes.
It beat Pride and Prejudice.
Wow.
So some people fucking love their stop motion British people.
Yeah. I have Nomona in because of the Sea Beast last year, essentially.
Yeah.
And also,
why isn't Chicken Run Sea Beast?
I think, well, Chicken Run isn't the Sea Beast because Chicken Run is Aardman, but the Sea Beast is Netflix. Do you see what I mean?
But Chicken Run is also Netflix.
Yeah, I know, but they went for the Sea Beast as like, oh, the Netflix animated movie that no one really watched.
Yeah. But
also people did watch this. It came out over the summer. It was very well loved by critics. So that's why
And it got nominated at the Annies instead of Elemental.
Yes, it did. They didn't go for any Disney or Pixar at the Annies this year.
And you know what? Good. Well, I mean,
good.
Other than Elemental. Yeah. So what are we gonna do here? We're doing TMNT.
Can you imagine if
Nomona
Wish
Chicken Run.
still got nominated?
I think Chicken Run. Chicken Run, absolutely.
We'll put Chicken Run in. I'll seed Chicken Run.
And then
Nomona TMNT. What are we doing? Nomona TMNT.
TMNT.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then they did fucking Mitchell vs. the Machines too. So
they did.
Yeah.
Also Netflix.
Okay. Who's it turn? Whose turn is it? Sam just went. Is it your turn, Tucker?
Sure. Let's just give it.
Makeup and hairstyling.
Makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a fun little category. He. Poor Things, Maestro, Guardians, Priscilla, and Barbie.
Barbie didn't get
Priscilla is not on the short list, and neither is Barbie.
Great, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, who do you have?
And Guardians is also not on the short list.
Yeah, Guardians also not on the short list.
Well, how about I
three films that are ineligible?
How did that happen?
Guardian. This is crazy. We should talk about this a second. Guardians.
How did all these movies not get makeup and hairstyle?
I don't know. I don't know. Tucker, you're about 4 weeks behind the discourse here.
Yeah, that's a really.
I'm sorry, I'm not on makeup and hairstyling discourse.
Well,
I got other things to do in my life.
Awards discourse, Tucker. Awards discourse.
That's really funny.
Guardians had the most.
Oh, sorry, I was just predicting the best makeup and hairstyling.
Tucker,
sorry,
exactly.
sorry, Oscars.
Exactly. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 had the most practical or like supplementary makeup effects that any movie ever has had. And they didn't get long-listed. Fuck off, I guess.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so the remaining three I have are Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Society of the Snow.
Right.
And Golda.
I have the same three, yeah.
Okay, let's go with those instead of mine.
Okay, so that sounds like a plan.
so we could actually get more than 2 out of 5 correct.
Yeah. Meister's winning, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meister's winning. Poor Things. Society of the
Snow. It should be Poor Things, though.
Golda.
Poor Things should win.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's got. Hey, Willem Dafoe is looking fucked up in that.
Oh, he's looking crazy. he's looking crazy. He's looking like Thanos. Look what Thanos did to Drax in Infinity War.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, that was fun for me to learn something really stupid about the fucking Academy.
Yep, that's right.
Jesus.
That's right. Okay. It's back around to me for production design. I'm going to go. There's a really interesting top 2 here, but I think there is, unfortunately, just a set winner, and that winner is Barbie. The strong number 2 here is Poor Things, obviously. Yeah. And then
what a fucking race.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have your big budget guys, Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer, and then I have The Zone of Interest as well.
Same! Let's go.
Okay, sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm
If Parasite can get nominated, then so will The Zone of Interest.
I have Asteroid City at my 5th slot, but also the amount of times they snub Wes Anderson for doing the best production design ever, it's like, too bad. It's not real enough. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Asteroid City also has some of the best production design that Wes Anderson has done.
I would agree.
Yeah, it should absolutely get nominated.
People just aren't going for it. I don't know what it is.
Front Dispatch didn't get it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Asteroid City got BAFTA longlisted, but didn't get the BAFTA nom, and just has gotten no other precursors.
Dumb.
Dumb. Anyway,
Wild.
that's your 5 for production design.
Oh, if the zone of interest actually got in, I'd like scream.
Yeah.
Oh, we have an old street in Killers of Flower Moon. Oh, dumb old house, plantation house.
The only other option I have in there is also Maestro. It just says like they made
Yeah,
some
same.
old
That's my
shit.
6th.
Okay, yeah.
That's my alternate. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you did cool shit instead of old shit?
I just hate that this
Cool
category
shit, though.
always has to be Best Picture nominees. Why
Yeah.
can't they do something that
Yeah,
isn't a Best
yeah.
Picture nominee in production design?
Like Asteroid City.
Yeah.
Sam,
Yeah.
tell me about some editing.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
So Oppenheimer, of
Right.
course.
Gonna win.
Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Then
Be safe.
Poor Things?
Yeah,
I
I have
have
poor
that.
things. I have poor things.
Yeah. I have Maestro
Yeah, I have that too.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't have that.
and I'm really, this is a hope diction, but Anatomy of a Fall.
I don't think it's.
Is
I
my
don't,
No,
think-
I mean that would be a great pick. I mean, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal editing.
I don't think it's necessarily a hope dict either. I think it's getting some precursors. Let me do a double check here. Anatomy of a Fall
Because
got in
Tar
at BAFTA.
got nominated.
Yeah.
Oh.
It got in at BAFTA.
Tar got nominated for editing.
Yeah.
So
I think it's the same kind of situation. I don't have Maestro. I do have Barbie, because I think they're gonna go for one of these comedies essentially.
yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised with that at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
Also, Barbie has some showy sort of editing where they're cutting
definitely.
between it's like they're doing the story and then it's like, oh, also this Depression Barbie section is here, and then
Yeah.
you're doing like the I'm Just Ken thing in the middle of the beach fight. I think it's got some showy stuff that's really jumping around a whole
Yeah,
lot.
which is interesting though because this year doesn't have much showy editing.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, we've had a couple of years in the past where it's like, holy shit, I can't believe this editing. But like, I mean, these movies all have good editing,
Yeah.
and the argument for Killers and Oppenheimer is like, man, they made a long movie.
Yep, certainly did.
and it seems like they do that for editing, which
Uh-huh.
which I push back against a little bit. I disagree with that. In terms of,
I contend that both of those movies move along at quite a bit of a clip and have some compelling
I
sequences
agree
that
with
rely on their editing.
I agree with that about one of them.
I know. You do.
But yeah, I don't know. Editing's always weird to me because this is always a category where this is just Best Picture nominees.
Yeah.
Okay, they just get editing, even if there were other movies with better editing.
Yeah.
And so I have the Holdovers in mind.
Not
because,
crazy either.
Because people have just been saying this forever.
Not
It's like,
crazy,
oh,
no.
Holdovers is going to get editing. It's like, yeah, but why? Like,
Remember they do some
because
like
Banshees.
yeah, but like, why did Banshees get edited?
it's the comedic
Right, exactly.
timing. It's the comedic timing that does.
I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
I actually think Watch Out for American Fiction
Yeah,
as a weird
sure.
nominee.
Also fair.
Sure. Yeah.
So what do we want to do? So it sounds like we got Oppenheimer,
three.
Killers, Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall. Want to put Anatomy of a Fall in?
I mean, neither of us have that. Do two of us have Maestro?
No, Sam has
I have
Anatomy
Anatomy
of a
of a Fall.
And do you?
Fall. I do.
Okay, then we're putting that in.
And then what are we doing? Barbie, Holdovers,
Maestro.
Maestro. What are we doing? What are we doing here, folks?
I think maybe it's safest to go Holdovers.
Okay.
Just like a Best Picture winner with that, a Best Picture nominee with
Yeah.
that comedic timing.
Yeah.
Seems like it just has been keeping that. It's like,
Yeah.
It-
I'm not opposed to that.
yeah, I think we should just put that.
Me
Sam?
neither.
Okay. Let's do
Go for
Holdovers. Alrighty. Cinematography.
Is that my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Cinematography is an interesting one here. I'm going to make some interesting picks because, again, my anti-Killers of the Flower Moon bias is showing through. I don't think he gets nominated.
All right.
I think that
hey,
movie's dying.
Okay, go for
Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Maestro, Barbie, and Saltburn.
Okay, you're doing Saltburn.
it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
Maybe I'm just
gonna
going with
be
best
Killers of the Flower
cinematography?
Moon.
Hey, listen.
The Zone of Interest is getting nominated here. This is not my bias speaking. Lucas Schell has 2 Oscar nominations for 2 foreign language films that didn't get nominated anywhere else, both of which he got nominated at BAFTA for. He got nominated at BAFTA for The Zone of Interest. He will get nominated for the Oscar.
Yeah. Okay. So what? Yeah. I have Killers, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Zone of Interest.
Same 5.
So Tucker,
Okay.
I'm sorry to say your Saltburn pick has been outvoted. Just because I'm taking a look at.
I mean, that should
precursors
It
win.
here.
didn't get BAFTA, and they didn't nominate Linus for First Man or Babylon.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon did get BAFTA. So
I don't
and
fuck with
they were also spotty on Killers of the Flower Moon,
Sure, yeah.
and they should have gone for Saltburn because it's a British movie.
And because it's better cinematography.
My alt is actually El Conde.
That's a fair point too. I mean, didn't that get that got ASC?
ASC.
Yeah.
Is that what?
But
And,
they're
and
always
is that
4
how
out of
Bardo
5,
got
so
in
they'll-
last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how Bardo got in. So
So
yeah,
that's
not bad
actually a
pick.
pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're always 4 out of 5, and I don't see any of the other 4 missing. And I think Zone of Interest is gonna get in, so I'm just gonna do that as my 5.
All right.
Okay, folks, it's back over to me for visual effects. So for visual effects, I'm going to go with The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and then my 5th sort of debatable spot is Mission Impossible again. Basically just because it got in at the BAFTA. So I'm open to interpretation there.
Yeah, I have a different 5 as well.
Okay.
I share the same top 3. Sam and I were both nodding along. But then my other slots are Mission Impossible, as you said.
Yep.
I think that it's just one of the big blockbuster things where
Yeah.
it did that very well. It was one of the good-looking blockbusters of this year.
One of the very
and then
few.
I have Poor Things.
Okay,
in my
yeah.
5th slot. I think that is one of the most interesting.
We all have different 4 and 5.
Okay.
Okay,
My
here we go.
4 is Society of the Snow.
Yes.
I think that the All Quiet nomination last year makes
sure.
great precedent
Yeah.
for this to get nominated. It also got 51 million hours of streaming on Netflix.
It was a big hit. Big international hit, especially on Netflix.
And my 5th is Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And
So
I
you
have
you know,
this because no modern Lucasfilm has missed this nomination.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Hey,
I just think it's a precedent waiting to be broken.
I would say the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
these streaks are meant to be broken. I don't think you're crazy, Sam. I don't think you're crazy.
It's a good track
It's
record.
possible. Like of the 2 blockbusters, Spider-Verse notwithstanding, it's one of the possible ones. But I think what it sounds like is we're gonna do Mission Impossible for a
we
4
share that.
slot, and then 5.
What did you say your 5th was?
Indiana Jones.
No. What did you want before that? Oh, Society of the Snow.
Oh, Society of the
Society
Snow.
of the Snow. Poor Things. What are the? Oh,
Spider-Verse.
yeah, Spider. You guys don't have Spider-Verse in there?
No.
What?
No.
Are you guys crazy?
They've never nominated an animated film that wasn't stop motion.
I mean, hang on. Let me pull up some precursors here, but I don't know. I think for Poor Things, my thing is like they snubbed Oppenheimer from the visual effects thing, and like so I don't know if they're just like that like lightly used stuff they're just not going for this year.
Lightly used. But I mean, it's much less lightly used than Poor Things. I mean, there are characters that have significant visual effects, and it's ever present in backgrounds. It's also heightened reality.
That's fair.
In Oppenheimer, it's using visual effects to recreate reality, and even then, the thing is like, oh my god, we did so much of this practically. We shot so much of it on location. Poor Things is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're
Poor
similar.
Things, I'm not confident in it.
Spider-Verse made BAFTA long list, Critics' Choice, and Visual Effects Society. I listen. I'm not. I don't know the ins and outs of like what they count as visual effects or not. I'm just saying that it's like it's got this this package rolling already.
Does Society of Snow have anything?
Let me pull up Society of the Snow. Un moment. Visual Effects Society.
Okay. Yeah, then
That's strong for.
I think the safer one then
guilds
is
to do an
Spider-Verse.
international.
Okay. You want to do Spider-Verse?
I'm voting Spider-Verse. Because
Go for it.
You did show that the precursors are stronger.
I just don't I don't necessarily agree that like, oh, that's visual effects. I don't really know. I'm not in that guild. I'm not familiar with the ins and outs of it, but I'm just like, they're going for it. They have decided that this one has great visual effects for whatever reason. Okay. We're into our last 3 here, folks. We're into our last rotation. So that means over to Sam.
Oh wait, no, Tucker, you start, and then Tanner, so I can do director.
Oh, okay. Tucker, tell me your actor 5.
Actor 5. Okay.
Do.
Actor.
Yes.
I have Cillian Murphy. Would you
What a
believe it?
shocker.
Paul Giamatti. Would you believe it?
What a shocker.
Bradley Cooper. Would you believe it?
Uh-huh.
Jeffrey Wright, and then I'm gonna pull a crazy one.
Okay, here we go.
Zac Efron.
Whoa! And then Tucker, let me stop you because that's crazy. All right, man.
I am refusing to take Leo out of my predictions.
Okay.
I do not care
Anti-killer's
that he
bias.
missed SAG and BAFTA. I do not care. He is still a 7-time Oscar nominee in a Martin Scorsese film that's a
Sam,
top 5 contender.
Sam, I hear you. I was very apprehensive to do the same thing. I was like, he's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. They always nominate him. I just don't know how he can miss. But then you look at the SAG and you look at like some like other precursors. They're just not going for Leo here. I don't know if it's the role. I think it probably is the role, frankly. And then like just the strength of putting. I think it's the what everyone else has kind of switched to. Coleman Domingo in Rustin.
I'm fine with having that as our 5, but I have never predicted Coleman Domingo once. He has never been in my 5.
Okay.
This has been my 5 for months.
Yeah.
So,
and I know again I'm going with the SAG 5 here too. I know I am.
I'm gonna vote with Sam. I think that Leo makes more sense.
You go Leo?
Yes.
Okay, Leo it is. All right. Well, we'll put Leo in the 5.
Over Zac Efron.
Yes, over Zac Efron. Tugger, I would be elated if Zac Efron got in on Oscar morning. I would be so happy.
God,
that would be really nice.
As many people have noted, he probably should be in there, but just this whole thing of like predicting the Oscars and we contribute to it. We speak it into existence. This whole thing, and when people have these nominations, these categories locked up, weeks, months in advance before these other movies come out. But also maybe put Iron Cloud a little bit earlier. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe. I don't know. If you wanted it to be a bigger player, I don't know. I'll take actress then.
Okay.
Actress, I'm going number 1 with a bullet. Despite the BAFTA snub, Lily Gladstone. Number 2 is going to be Emma Stone in Poor Things. Number 3, Sandra Hüller. Number 3 should technically be Carey Mulligan. Number 4, Sandra Hüller. Number 5, Margot Robbie.
Yep, that's what I have.
I have Sandra Hüller 3, Margot Robbie 4, and Carey Mulligan 5.
Fair.
But
we have the same 5.
This is maybe the first year in a long time that the Best Actress lineup will be predictable and smooth.
And all Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, which has basically never happened.
Yeah. Again, same thing with Picture. If there is a weird thing, I actually do think it's Ingenue.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be anyone else. But again, I don't have enough evidence for that.
This is the one that I also have the most alts for. I have, Fantasia Barrino as an alt. I have Annette Bening as an alt. I have Ingenue Ellis Taylor as an alt. I have Greta Lee as an alt. I have Natalie Portman as an alt.
But because there are so many alts,
yeah,
they're all gonna cancel, and it's gonna be this 5. So
yeah, that's what I have too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
This is actually the easiest one to predict of the acting.
Of the acting, absolutely.
All right. Tugger, go ahead and buckle in.
Buckle in. Sam's
going to take us on a ride for director. Here we go.
Okay.
Director's weird.
Yeah.
It's so hard, but not for me.
Okay.
I have Nolan.
Nolan.
Because you're just projecting your mind out.
Shocker. I have Nolan.
What?
Shocker.
Crazy.
My number 2 is Jonathan Glazer.
Okay.
He's gonna get nominated. And 3, Scorsese.
Yep.
4, Alexander Payne.
Yep.
5, Yorgos Lanthimos.
Okay.
I am going to explain my logic on all of these except Nolan and Scorsese because...
Yeah.
Sam, let me say...
That's his 5.
That you're not crazy. That's my 5.
Oh, okay. Amazing.
Because as things have shaped up, as hard as I tried to keep Greta Gerwig in there, I'm like... The holdovers is just having a fucking moment right now. They are gonna fucking eat. They are eating this shit up. People in the industry are eating this thing up. I'm sorry, Greta. Alexander Payne has reclaimed his spot. I don't know. Go ahead, Sam.
I agree.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Zone is gonna get in, and I don't have Anatomy of a Fall in for the same reason why All Quiet didn't get nominated last year and Ruben Östlund did. Mm-hmm. Not only do you have to be acclaimed to be that international nominee of the year, you have to look for 2 things. 1, if they got nominated for the BAFTA for screenplay, because that's what Drive My Car did, that's what Amour did, that's what Another Round did, that's what Triangle of Sadness did.
Sure.
You also have to be out of Cannes, check, and you can't just be international. You have to be an auteur. Mm-hmm. And Justine Triet does not have an acclaimed body of work.
No.
And who does? Jonathan Glazer.
Small body of work,
Jonathan
but
Glazer
acclaimed.
checks every single box for being the international slot this year. It is also the most unique and artistic movie that I have predicted.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if the directors
I
are
actually
voting
think
here,
Triangle of Sadness
Yeah.
was more artistic than All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
So that explains that. Here's the thing. Scorsese isn't going to get snubbed. Like, I know he didn't get a BAFTA nomination, but he's not going to miss. This is the director's bench.
Uh-huh.
Alexander Payne, every single time his movie has been nominated for Best Picture, he has also been nominated for Best Director. And I think so many people have been so quick to dismiss him because they don't want him to get in. But
Or
I know
because,
this branch.
If I may throw out a little like arrow against this argument, this is one of the first ones that he hasn't written. You know, Greta Gerwig is a writer-director here. Alexander Payne is not a writer on The Holdovers.
Sure, and a lot of people are saying like Green Book snub, Argo snub, but Green Book is much more of a commercial film. Yes. I actually think The Holdovers is more artful than Green Book.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can kind of see that, but I also think that it is commercial and targeting a certain demographic, certainly, much like Green Book probably was as well.
Yeah.
Yes, but there is something, it has a little bit more of artistic value to it than Green Book. And I don't think the branch is going to take Barbie seriously. I have Lanthimos 5th because if he wasn't top 2 at BAFTA, where I really thought they would be, if those Europeans aren't putting Lanthimos in, I'm like, the alarms are going off.
Yeah.
But Poor Things is too big visually for me to do that.
Yeah.
And he still got nominated for The Favorite despite missing Globe and DGA that year. So I have Lanthimos at 5th with Barbie as my alt.
Yes.
I think one of them is going to get in. I actually have Payne like comfortably in there. Anatomy of a Fall I just don't buy because again you have to be an auteur. If she got in, it would be a passion pick, and that rarely happens in this category.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking. I'm settling for this, and I think this will be the 5.
Okay. Yep. Tucker, do you have any thoughts here?
I mean, I think that's obviously you guys both agree on the 5, so there's no like, oh, am I going to really upset it? But I still do think that Gerwig gets in. I think that the writer-director, I think that it being close up top for picture, I think it being one of the biggest commercial hits of the year, it is one of those. It also is one of those director movies. I mean, it is a vision through and through. There's nothing ever been like it.
I can totally see them wanting to celebrate the minds behind Barbenheimer.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And I can totally see that.
Yeah, and I also, again, this is still riding me thinking that Barbie's is going to be overperforming.
Yep.
I have it in sound, and I have it in supporting actress.
Yep.
And so it can't be. It can't get those and not get Best Director. And then I also do have Anatomy of a Fall. I think that you make very good point for Zone of Interest. I think they're equally likely in my mind. I just I haven't seen Zone of Interest, and Anatomy of a Fall is one of the best movies of the year.
Well,
I also think that it's the year for the year for a double female director.
It's the year?
It's the year.
Hey, Tucker.
It's the year, but whenever the director's branch hears that, they say nope. And then they don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
hey, better luck next time, women. Try directing. Try directing the next biggest movie of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's actually really frustrating that someone like Alexander Payne. It really is frustrating that someone like Alexander Payne will get nominated and Greta Gerwig won't. Like that actually like infuriated me, and I think it's very upsetting to see the same things that have been happening for decades still happening. And I don't think Barbie is like the most incredible artistic achievement of the year or anything, but it is telling that she is directing the biggest movie of the year that like is about women and will still miss to a movie that stuck 5 decades ago with a director who has several abuse accusations.
Yes.
I think that's very telling of who the director's branch is and what they're like. So I'm not going to be surprised when they don't announce her name. We will know right away. It will be the first one. A woman will be the first one to get in because Anatomy and Barbie are the first 2 letters of the alphabet.
Yep. We will know
So
if they it is kind of like. It is poetic, I suppose, in a way that they'll probably be announcing The Holdovers for Alexander Payne first instead of announcing Justine Triet or Barbie first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, try as I might, for months and months and months, I tried to keep Gerwig in there. But if we're trying to predict what the DGA or not the DGA, the director's branch will do, I think we have it there. So there you have it, folks. 100% accurate. Will happen on Oscar morning.
We did it
with a bullet. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But of course, we will be seeing how accurate we were in just a couple days when this all comes to the forefront.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sam. Tucker, thank you for joining me. With all your predictions. Again, comment down below if you think we said something just insane, nutso, off the wall.
I didn't. Everything I said was actually what's going to happen.
Yes, they'll actually go against their own short list in a number of categories, as Tucker said. And also, like I said, join our Discord server. We have a whole channel just for talking about the Oscars.
Yes.
That'll be lighting up on Tuesday morning.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.